Hello students, hope you all have read the lesson. Let us begin our chapter for today, Swami Vivekananda. In your previous class, you have learned about how India is a land of many great religions. Many great religious leaders were born in India. One among them was Swami Vivekananda. This lesson tells us about the life and principles and teachings of Swami Vivekananda. In this lesson, the author tells us the story of a young boy who once came and told his mother that he wanted to be a coachman of a horse coach. Then his mother will advise him that if he wishes to be a coachman, he should become the one like Lord Krishna, who in the battle of Mahabharata became the coach of Arjuna. He drew the chariot of Arjuna in the battle of Mahabharata, and it is at this time that he preached the famous Gitopadesha, which became a part of the Bhagavad Gita. Narendra will not understand the meaning of what his mother meant when she told him as a young boy that he should become like Lord Krishna. The same boy Naren, when he grew up, he became one of India's most famous spiritual leaders, Swami Vivekananda. Narendra was born on 12th January 1863 to Vishwanath Datta and Bhuneshwari Devi in Kolkata, that is modern day Calcutta in West Bengal. So his parents were Vishwanath Datta and Bhuneshwari Devi. They considered the child the boon of Lord Vireshwara Shiva and named him Vireshwara. His parents considered that Narendra was a gift or a boon of Lord Vireshwara Shiva, and so they named him as Vireshwara when he was born. Later on they named him as Narendra. Boon means in Kannada you call it as Vara. So they believed him to be the gift of or the boon of Lord Vireshwara Shiva, and later on he was named from Vireshwara to Narendranath. Narendranath was sent to a primary school and later to a private tutor. He studied Sanskrit grammar, long passages from the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. Narendranath was a very intelligent child. At a very young age itself, he learnt about Sanskrit grammar. He learnt long passages from Ramayana and the Mahabharata. He was an... We shall now continue with the lesson. Whatever you have learned so far was in the previous video. So I will now continue with the remaining part of the lesson. Narendra had a strong desire to study more and he wanted to see God. He met many people, but he was not able to find satisfactory answers. Narendra had a very strong desire. Desire means he had a very strong wish to see God. He wanted to see God. For that reason, he met a number of people, but he was not able to get any satisfactory answers from anybody. He wanted to see God. So, he went to many places, met many people, but finally nobody could give him a satisfactory or a content answer. The desire to see God grew day by day. Finally, one day he became successful when he could meet his guru from whom he got the answer to his desire. Swami Vivekananda had a desire. Desire means in Kannada you call it as Ichche. He had the wish to see God, and every day the desire or the wish to see God was increasing. And finally one day he became successful when he met a teacher from whom he got the answer to his desire. And that guru was none other than Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Swami Vivekananda had gone to a number of people to find solution or answer to his question. But nobody was able to give him satisfactory answers. But one person who helped him to give a satisfactory answer was Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa could help him experience God. Thus, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa became Naren's spiritual guru. So finally, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa helped him to experience God. He gave him knowledge about God, and Narendra was finally convinced, and his desire to see God or realize God was fulfilled. Thus, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa became Naren's spiritual guru. Spiritual guru means Adhyatmika guru. Since Ramakrishna Paramahamsa helped Swami Vivekananda to experience God, he became the spiritual teacher of Narendra. After Swami Vivekananda accepted Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as his spiritual guru or Adhyatmika guru, he did not stop with it. He went on and on, walked miles, travelled all over the country to discover truth. When Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was on his deathbed, he called Narendra to him and asked him to continue teaching his principles. He told him to spread his message across the country. And so Swami Vivekananda accepted the orders of his master and decided to take sannyasatva or become a monk. Finally, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asked his other disciples and his other followers also to accept Narendra as their leader or as their guru. And on the guidance of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, all the other disciples of Ramakrishna also accepted Swami Vivekananda as their guru or as their teacher. And thus, Swami Vivekananda became a monk. Monk means sannyasi. He became a wandering monk. Means he used to go from one place to another place. And he travelled all over the country to spread the preachings of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and to find the true meaning of religion and to understand the conditions of our country. So in 1888, Narendra decided to travel across the country as a monk. He wanted to discover truth about life. Naren was kind to all. He had sympathy for the poor. He was courageous too. These qualities helped him become a wandering monk, travelling alone to all places to help the needy. So Naren was a very kind-hearted person. He had sympathy for all the people. Sympathy means he showed kindness to all the people. And he was even courageous also. All these qualities helped him to become a wandering monk, travelling alone to all places to help the needy. Wandering means ಅಲೆದಾಡುವ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ wandering ಅಂತಾರೆ. So monk means a sannyasi. So he became a wandering monk. He began to travel alone to all the places in India. He went to different states, like first he went to Rajasthan, he went to Gujarat, then he even came to South India up to Kanyakumari. He travelled to different places across the country to realize and to know about India. Not only that, he went to all the places to spread the teachings of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Because of his kind nature and his courage, he was able to travel successfully to all the places in India. Wherever he went, people welcomed him with lots of love and respect. He often expressed his ideas on education. According to him, education should develop a complete human being. Swami Vivekananda gave lots of importance to education. According to him, education was very, very essential for the progress and development of a nation. For him, education was something that made a person to stand on his own leg in the society. He rightly said, education is the manifestation of the perfection already present in man. It meant that we already are educated. What we need is a process of learning by which we can show to the outside world our knowledge and our wisdom, so that we can have self-respect and learn to stand in the society by ourselves. Education is something that should form our character, that should help in nation building. He even said, you have to grow from the inside out. No one can teach you. None can make you spiritual. There is no other teacher but your own soul. He says, others can just teach us. But if we have to learn it, we have to learn it by ourselves. Nobody can make us stronger rather than ourselves. If we people have the will to learn, only then we can achieve something in our life and we can contribute for the betterment of the country and the society. He said, a nation is advanced in proportion to education and intelligence spread among the masses. It means that a country is advanced or a country grows or a country progresses in accordance with the education and intelligence of the people. If people are educated, if people are intelligent, then country can surely progress. So, he gave lot of importance to education for the progress of ourselves as well as for the progress of the society as well as the progress of the country. He made a speech in the Great Hall of Columbus in the Parliament of Religions at Chicago on 11th September 1893. The ruler of Khatri, Raja Ajit Singh, suggested Swami Vivekananda to go to Chicago. Chicago is a place in United States of America to represent Hinduism, where a conference of all the religions of the world was going to be held. All the major religions of the world leaders were coming to speak about their own religions. So, the ruler of Khatri, that is Raja Ajit Singh, he suggested Vivekananda to go to Chicago and represent Hinduism. So, on May 31st, 1893, with the funds that was collected by the Raja of Khetri as well as the kings of Mysore, the disciples of Swami Vivekananda in Madras, as well as the ruler of Ramnath, Divans and many others, Swami Vivekananda left for Chicago on May 31st, 1893. He went first to a place called as Vancouver in Canada, and from there he travelled to Chicago by train. When he reached Chicago, the people of America were surprised to see an Indian monk, because there people had not seen a monk or a sannyasi. So, when they saw the dress of Swami Vivekananda, they made fun of him and they laughed. They mocked at him. They laughed at him looking at his dress. After reaching Chicago, Swami Vivekananda realized that the last date for the registration of the Parliament of Religions was closed. He felt disappointed that he had come such a long way from India, but he could not speak. However, he did not lose hope. He went to a place called as Boston in America, because in Boston the cost of living was less compared to that of Chicago. And in Boston he met a professor called as Wright. Professor Wright helped Swami Vivekananda to speak at the Parliament of World Religions representing Hinduism. Professor Wright wrote a letter to the Parliament of Religions stating that here is a man. Here means Swami Vivekananda was a man who was more learned than all our professors put together. He meant that even if you take all the professors of America put together, none can equal Swami Vivekananda. So, Swami Vivekananda should be given a chance to speak at the Parliament of Religions. So, finally, by the help of Professor Wright, Swami Vivekananda made his famous and historic speech at the Great Hall of Columbus at Chicago on 11th of September 1893. He began his address with the words, "Sisters and Brothers of America." Everywhere, usually in United States and in other European countries, whenever the speech begins, they start it with "Ladies and Gentlemen of America." But Swami Vivekananda, for the first time in America, when Swami Vivekananda spoke, they heard the address as "Sisters and Brothers of America." Immediately, there was a thunderous applause from the vast audience, and it lasted for 2 minutes. Then all of a sudden, the crowd, the audience became so happy that the applause means they stood up and they clapped in appreciation. A loud clapping sound could be heard from the audience, and they clapped for about 2 minutes in appreciation for the way in which Swami Vivekananda addressed the people of America as sisters and brothers of America. The Swami spoke of the religion that was very vast as the sky and deep as the ocean. Swami Vivekananda spoke about Hinduism. He said that Hinduism was very vast. It was a very big and huge religion. It was as vast as the sky and as deep as the ocean. Further, he thanked all those who had assembled there. He referred to the Indians of all classes and sects. So, he spoke about the greatness of Hindu religion. He spoke about the greatness of Indian culture. He told that Hindu religion was as vast, vast means very big or huge, was as big as the sky and as deep as the ocean. He even thanked all the people who had assembled there, and he spoke about all Indians. He spoke about Indians belonging to different religions, different classes. He spoke about India as a whole. He spoke about the importance of Hinduism. He said that the Hindu religion, that in the true sense, it embraced all humanity. Swami Vivekananda, in the Conference of World Religions or in the Parliament of World Religions, while describing Hinduism, he said that Hinduism in its true sense, it embraced all humanity. Humanity in Kannada we call it as Manaviyate. So, it accepted, or it was an epitome or symbol of humanity. It accepted everything of humanity. And he said, I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. And he proudly said that he belonged to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance as well as acceptance. Tolerance means talme. Universal acceptance means accepting everybody as your brothers and sisters. That is called as universal acceptance. So he says, I come from a country where all people of all religions are accepted and tolerated. So he says, I am proud of my country's religion. He further said, we believe not only in universal tolerance, but we accept all religions as true. He also said that they not only believe that all religions are equal, but our religion has even taught us to accept all religions as true. These words were very impressive. Means people were very much happy and impressed when they heard these words, because he did not just speak about Hinduism. He spoke about the respect that Hinduism gave to all the religions in the world. He observed that the divisions in society based on religion has resulted in human hatred. In the speech, he also said that just because our society is divided into different divisions, there is so much of hatredness in our community, in our country and in the world. The day all people begin to live with love and harmony, this world will be a beautiful place to live in. So, he spoke about the importance of Hinduism, stating that Hinduism as a religion respected all other religions also. It even treated all religions as true, and because of which all the people belonging to different religions there, when they heard it, they felt very happy. They were very much impressed and pleased. He felt that human society would be far more advanced when there was no divisions. Swami Vivekananda, he felt that our human society, or the society in which we live, can be more developed if all these divisions that are there are completely wiped out. This society can progress only when there is unity among the people, when there is no division on the basis of caste and creed. Swami Vivekananda expressed his hope, saying that the time for driving away these evil forces in the society had come. So he told the people of America that time has come for all of us to be united to drive away. To drive away means to try to reduce or to try to remove the social evils that are there in our society. All those social evils like casteism, regionalism, all these things that stop the growth of our country. All these things have to be driven away or have to be removed from our society. He told that everybody should develop a sense of brotherhood and love for each other. There was great respect and appreciation from the people of America. So, finally, at the end, he told the people of America, he told the people of all the religions who had come there to develop a sense of brotherhood and love for each other. He told the people of all the religions to love each other as brothers and sisters. Only then the world can be a beautiful place to live in. At the end of his speech, all the people who had gathered there, the audience, they stood up and clapped in appreciation for the great speech that Swami Vivekananda spoke. This speech of Swami Vivekananda made the people of America to appreciate India as well as to appreciate Hinduism. In all the newspapers of America, they wrote about Swami Vivekananda in the front page. All the newspapers, they heralded or they spoke about Swami Vivekananda as a very great person. The people also, whenever after this program, when Swami Vivekananda went to the roads, when he was walking on the roads, the people came and appreciated him. They came running to him and spoke to him about his greatness. He was respected by everybody there because he did not scold any religion. Neither did he speak about only the greatness of our religion. Rather, he spoke about Hinduism as a way of life. He spoke about Hinduism accepting all the religions. He spoke about the culture of our country. After his return to India, he spent his time preaching religious tolerance and worked for the upliftment of the poor. After Swami Vivekananda came to India from Chicago, he spent his time preaching religious tolerance and he worked for the upliftment of the poor. When Swami Vivekananda had been to different parts of India, he had seen the poverty in our country. So he decided that he will try to uplift or improve the condition of the poor people. He established Belur Math in 1898 and it became the center of Ramakrishna Mission with the motto "Work is Worship." So, in 1898, Swami Vivekananda, as a tribute to his spiritual guru, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, established the Ramakrishna Mission to preach the preachings of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa as well as for the upliftment of the poor. So, he established the Belur Math in 1898 in West Bengal and it became the center of Ramakrishna Mission. The theme or the motto of Ramakrishna Mission is "Work is Worship." And true to its theme, the Ramakrishna Mission has established a large number of schools, hospitals and other institutes for the downtrodden and poorer section of the society. These institutions that Ramakrishna Mission runs, they work in areas of health, education, upliftment of the poor and upliftment of the society. Though he had only a short span of life on earth, the essence of his words have been inspiring men and women throughout the world. Swami Vivekananda died on July 4, 1902 at a young age of 39 years. Though he lived for only 39 years on this earth, yet the work that he did was wonderful. His ideas and his principles continue to inspire all the men and women throughout the world even today. His best example that he gave to the world was service to humanity is service to God. He told that if we serve people, it is like we serve God. His ideals and his principles continue to inspire people even today. And that is the reason why Swami Vivekananda even today is considered as one of the most important and famous spiritual leaders of India. Not only India but even of the world also. So children, what we can learn from this lesson? So far, what all we have learnt about the life, the early life of Vivekananda, his teachings and his principles is we should try to follow his footsteps. We should try to love each other. We should try to help each other. We should learn to develop religious tolerance. We should work for the upliftment of the society. We should try to become like the followers of Swami Vivekananda, so that our life can be meaningful and our country can also progress. As a tribute to Swami Vivekananda, since he is an inspiration to the youth of our country, his birthday every year on 12th of January is celebrated in our country as National Youth Day. So, with this we complete the chapter. Hope you have understood it. In case if any of you are having any doubts, we will get it clarified when the school reopens. Your question answers will be sent to you, will be discussed both in the form of video as well as PDF also will be sent. Kindly write all the question answers, meanings of the words and grammar neatly in your classwork.